Alright guys, so moving on to our next lesson. Today we're going to be focusing on finding the surface area of rectangular prisms and with cylinders. Okay. Well, also other prisms as well. So, real quick, just want to clarify what surface area is. So up to this point, when we talked about area, we've only been dealing with two-dimensional shapes, like they're flat on the paper, like regular triangles, regular parallelograms, different shapes. But when we're talking about three-dimensional shapes, three-dimensional shapes have what are known as surface area. So this is basically kind of like, imagine if I were to take this, this is a rectangular prism right here, and let's say like I was to kind of okay, imagine taking a box, like you get a box from like Amazon or whatever, and you cut the box up and you lay it flat on the ground where all of the box is like kind of like stretched out, and the surface area would be that area of that shape that it creates if you were to like cut the sides and stuff like that and just kind of like open it up and laying it flat on the ground. So that's basically what surface area is. You're taking a three-dimensional shape and you're cutting it up and laying it flat on the ground, and then you get the area of the ground that the shape creates. So each different three-dimensional shape, we covered it on the last video about the prisms, the pyramids, the cones, the cylinders, and the spheres have their own formulas that we can use based on the different dimensions and measurements we're given on the shape to help us find what the surface area is equal to. So the first one we're going to be talking about is the rectangular prism or cubes. This is the formula. Surface area equals 2 times L times W plus 2 times L times H plus 2 times W times H, where L, W, and H represent the dimensions of the figure. So in this case, L represents length, W represents width, and H represents height. So when you're looking at your figure, you just need to figure out which part of the prism is the length of the width and the height. And then from there, all it is just simply substituting into this long formula. It's not very difficult. It's just, a lot of multiplying, and then adding everything together. Basically, everything's going to be done in the calculator. Okay, so let's try an example right here. So number one gives us this rectangular prism. It gives me one part of it is 7, one part of it is 13, and the other part is 9. So all I have to do is just identify, my L, W, and H. So this is going to be my L, this is going to be my W, and this is going to be my H. So all I have to do is take that 7, 13, and 9 and then just plug it into this formula right here. So surface area, SA, equals 2 times L, which is 7, times W, which is 13. Whoops, put the W, I meant to put 13. Plus 2 times L, which is 7, times H, which is 9, plus 2 times W, which is 13, times H, which is 9. And then here it is. All I gotta do is just type that into the calculator. So 2 times 7 times 13 plus 2 times 7 times 9 plus 2 times 13 times 9. Press enter, and there it is, 542. So surface area is equal to 542, and I'm done. So you don't need to worry about the units. I mean, it's feet. Technically, this would be feet squared. All right, the next one. So right here, this will be my right here. This one would be my H. Oh, because it's kind of sideways. I know it looks like it's kind of slanted, but it's not. It's just like if you were to kind of like put it like this, it's just a box that's kind of tilted. All right, so this is my L. This can be my H, and this can be my W. Honestly, if you're confused on which one is H, L, and W, when you're dealing with a shape like this, it doesn't matter as long as each one is given a designated value. All right, so we're gonna do the formula again. So surface area equals 2 times L, which is 10, times W, which is 5, plus 2 times L, which is 10, times H, which is 16, plus 2 times W, which is 5, times H, which is 16. There it is. So once again, just type that all into the calculator. You don't have to put the parentheses either. You can do times 10 times 5 plus 2 times 10 times 16 plus 2 times 5 times 16. Press enter, and there it is, 580. So surface area equals 580, and because they're centimeters, it would be centimeters squared. And then finally, so remember, it doesn't matter which ones I pick, just give each one L, H, W, and then do the formula. Let's see, so surface area equals 2 times L, which is 11, times W, which is 1.5, plus 2 times L, which is 11, times H, which is 6, plus 2 times W, which is 1.5, times H, which is 6. And there it is. So 2 times 11 times 1.5 plus 2 times 11 times 6 plus 2 times 1.5 times 6. Press enter, and there it is, 183. So surface area equals 183, and this is inches, so inches squared. So the rectangular prisms or cubes are pretty straightforward, just plugging in your L, W, and H. All right, so now for all the other prisms. Okay, so now this is for prisms that have bases that are not rectangles and squares. So they're going to be either like triangular, they can be hexagonal, pentagonal, for pentagons and so forth. Okay, or even trapezoids. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the lateral area. This is the area of the non-bases. Then we just add the area of the bases. Okay, so lateral area, which is represented by L and A, that's equal to height times P, where the height is the height between the two bases, and the perimeter is the perimeter of the base. Then you're going to add 2 times, now this capital B, big B, is the area of the base. Okay, so that means you need to figure out if this is a triangle, big B represents the area of the triangle. Right here, this one's also a triangle, and this one right here is a trapezoid, so we would have to do the trapezoid formula for this one. But then we use it to plug into this this formula right here. So it's very important that you remember that H is the height between the bases. So which means like right here, this is the base right here. So like this would be H, and then I would find the perimeter of the base to find the lateral area. So it sounds more complicated than it is, but it's actually not. Okay, so first let's get lateral area, which is the HP, which it's going to go right here. So lateral area is equal to the height between the bases. So the bases are the triangles right here. Between them is 16, so this is the height. So it's going to be 16 times the perimeter. So now the perimeter is the base of the prism, which in this case is the triangle. So this side is 9, this side is 12. They tell you that this side right here is 15, which means that this side right here is also 15. So all you have to do is just add 9 plus 12 plus 15, and that gives you your perimeter. So add those together, and that gives me 36. So perimeter is 36. I'm going to write here. So H is 16. Perimeter was 36. So if I want to calculate my lateral area, it's just 16 times 36, which is 576. And then, of course, to get the surface area, I'm going to take that 576 and I'm going to add it to 2 times big B, which big B is the area of the triangle. So you're going to have to kind of go back to these set of notes that I gave you guys at the beginning of the unit. So you can use these right here because you're going to need these formulas right here to find the area of the bases, the big base. So in this case, since it's a triangle, I'm using this area right here. Area equals 1/2 times base times height. So it's going to be, so big B is equal to 1/2 times the base of the triangle. So remember, the height right here has to be where the right angle is. So it's going to be 9 times 12. So 1/2 times 9 times 12, which gives me 54. So big B is 54. So now to do surface area, that's going to be my LA, which is right here, the 576, plus 2 times that base, which was the 54 I found, which is right there. So then all you got to do is just combine them together. And then this is your, oh, sorry, that's supposed to be plus. Plus, there it is too. I was like, wow, why is it a big number? There you go, that's better. Yeah, it's plus. I wrote plus. Yeah, I did write plus. I just typed it wrong. And there it is. This is your surface area. All right, guys, so moving on to the next examples. We're still looking at prisms. Remember, we need to get the lateral area by finding the height times the perimeter. Then we need to find the area of the big base, and then we just put it right here, this plus this times 2. All right, so for this one, this is a triangular prism, just like the one before. So first, let's get the lateral area. So the lateral area equals the height between the two bases, which is going to be right here. So right here, so this is my rectangular base. It's separated by this 3. So it's going to be 3 times the perimeter of the actual shape. So that's the 5 plus 12 plus 10. So that gives me 27. So 3 times 27 gives me 81. So my lateral area is 81. All right, next we need to get the area of the base. So that's big B. So it's a triangle again. So we're going to do 1/2 base times height. So 1/2. So right here, here's this height right here they gave us right here at this right angle. So the height is the 4.1. So it goes to the base, which is the 12. So I'm going to do 1/2 times 1.1, 4.1, excuse me, times 12. So that gives me 8.4. So my big base is 8.4. So then surface area equals that lateral area, which is 81, plus 2 times the base, which is 8.4. There we go. So 97.8. Hold on, let me check something real quick. Says I got it wrong. Oh, okay, there it is. I think I typed it in wrong. So this is actually 24.6. So sorry. 24.6. There it is. So this should be here. This should be 24.6. Okay. So let's try that again. 81 plus 2 times 24.6. There it is. Okay, that's the correct answer. 130.2. So that's what surface area is equal to. All right, then the next example. All right, so this is a trapezoidal prism. So I have right here these two bases that are trapezoids. So first, let's get the lateral area. So the distance between the two bases is right here is 15. And then the perimeter of the base is going to be the 12, 23, the 18, and the 20. So I got to add all those four together. All right, so that gives me 73. So the perimeter is 73. Oh, I forgot to write that down earlier. So up here, perimeter was 27, and right here, perimeter is 73. Then the height was the 15, because that's the difference. And over here, the height over here was 3. There you go, sorry about that. All right, so plug this into the calculator, 15 times 73. That gives me 10,000, yeah, 1,095. All right, so now we got to get the area of the base. All right, so this is a trapezoid. So the trapezoid, we have to use this formula right here, which is 1/2 times the height of the trapezoid, and then base 1 plus base 2. So we're only looking at the trapezoid. Okay, so the height of the trapezoid is actually the 12, and the bases are going to be the 23 and the 18. So we're going to ignore this 15 and 20 for this one. So it's 1/2 times the height of the trapezoid, which is 12, times the two bases being added together, so 18 plus 23. So that gives me the area of the trapezoid itself. 12, 18 plus 23. There it is, 246. All right, then surface area is this 1,095 plus 2 times this 246. And 1580, yeah, I got it right, 1587. So there's my surface area. $15.87. There you go. I'm doing on time. Okay, good. All right, so let's do on the next page. All right, so let me write the formulas down right here so I don't forget it. So LA is H times P, and SA is HP plus 2 big B. All right, so for this one, this is another trapezoidal prism, but this time it's an isosceles trapezoid. Oh boy. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I think I got everything. Okay, so first, let's get the distance between the two trapezoids. So the distance between the two trapezoids is right here, is this 9, because right here, you gotta kind of think of it three-dimensional. This is the front, back here is the back, and the distance between them is this 9. So H is 9. And then the actual shape itself, the trapezoid is the 10, the 18, and then this 13, but there's 2 of them because it's an isosceles. So to get the perimeter, you have to do 10 plus 18 plus 13 plus 13. So the perimeter is 54. All right, so lateral area equals 9 times 54. that's 486. All right, so we're doing a trapezoid again, so we're doing the same formula as the one we did last. However, this time the height of the trapezoid is actually this 2.4 because they're right here at the right angle. So the big base equals 1/2 times the height, which is that 12.4, and then you're going to add the two bases. The two bases are the 10 and the 18. So 10 plus 18. Oops. There it is. So it's 173.6. All right, so then surface area is this lateral area, which is the 486, plus 2 times that base, which is the 173.6. And there it is, 833.2. All right, then the last prism. So this is a triangular prism. So first, let's get the height, which is the distance between the two triangles, which is this 21. And then the perimeter, so add the 21 around. Oh, so we are gonna have to do Pythagorean theorem. Yeah, for this one we do have to do Pythagorean theorem because we need this, like this slant measure right here. But that's okay. I mean, we've done it before. So it is the hypotenuse. So you're gonna do 15 squared plus 8 squared. So I'll do it right here. So 15 squared plus 8 squared, and then you square root it. Which actually became a perfect 17. So that means that this slant right here, I'm just gonna write it down, is actually 17. So add them all up to get the perimeter. So 15 plus 8 plus 17 is 40. So the perimeter is 40. So LA equals the 21 times 40. So that gives me 840. All right, so it is a triangle. It's a right triangle, so that tells me that this is the height. So it's going to be 1/2 times the base, which is 8, times the height, which is 15. So 1/2, 8 times 15, which is 60. So then surface area is equal to that 840 plus 2 times 60. And there it is, 960, yep. And there's my surface area. All right, so on the next video, we'll move on to the cylinders. All right, guys, so moving on to the next part of the notes. So right on this video, we're going to be focusing on the cylinders. All right, so the cylinders are going to be a little bit easier compared to the other prisms, only because with the other prisms, like for these ones right here, you had to find that area of the bases and do all that lateral stuff. This one's pretty straightforward. All you have to do is just kind of plug in your like height and radius of your figure. Okay. So remember that the cylinder, it has circle bases, and then basically what it has like this rectangle that's like kind of like wrapped around the circle, creating its face. Okay, so kind of similar where you have a lateral area, but it's going to be pretty straightforward. It's going to be equal to 2 pi times r times h, which r and h are the radius and height. And then the surface area, all you're going to do is you're going to do 2 times the area of the circle, which is why we have this 2 pi r squared. And then you just combine them. All right, so pretty straightforward. Here's the circle right here. So it gives you the radius. So this is your r. And then the height is the distance between the two circles, which is this 26. So there's your height. So first, let's find LA. So LA is 2 pi times the radius, which is 11, times the height, which is that 26. So 2 pi times 11 times 26. So we'll go ahead and round to the nearest hundreds, or what do they do, tenths? They do hundreds. Okay, so you know what? Matter of fact, let's just leave this alone. Okay, we'll get back to this part right here. So surface area is equal to 2 pi times r squared, which is this 11 squared. Yeah, we'll do this. 11 squared plus the lateral area. Okay, so now we can bring this back down, and that way we can kind of do it all in one shot. Yeah, we'll do that because I don't want you guys to round incorrectly up here and then you mess it up down here and you mess up this whole thing. So we'll just do it all in one shot. All right, so it's 2 pi times 11 squared. You know what? Let's do that. 2 pi. We'll just do the 11 squared. We can do it like that. Plus 2 pi again times the radius, which is 11, times the height, which was that 26. There we go. We'll do it like that. There it is. Okay. So right here we'll round to the nearest hundredth. So this will round up to 26. So 0.26. So surface area equals 250 25.7.26. There we go. All right, same thing for this one. So this one, they give you a full diameter. So that means the radius is half of that. So radius is equal to half of 15, which is 7.5. So, and then right here, the distance between the two circles is this 9. So there's my height. So we'll just ignore this part right here and we'll just go jump straight into this. So surface area equals 2 pi. So it's 7.5 squared plus 2 pi times 7.5 times the 9. There we go. So 2 pi 7.5 squared plus 2 pi times 7.5 times 9. Let's see, make sure that's correct. Yeah, it is 77.54. Yep. So surface area is 77.54. And that's pretty much it for the cylinders. Like I said, the cylinders are pretty straightforward because of those circle bases. It's the prisms that are a little bit more difficult. Okay, so let's do a couple of applications. You know, when we're given the surface area and kind of having to move backwards. So this application deals with a cereal box. If the surface area of the box of cereal is 272 inches squared, find the length of the box. Okay, so that means we kind of have to go back and do this formula, but we're working backwards to find L. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're going to plug in our formula. So remember, our formula is this this really long one, the 2LW. You know, I'll write it down. So surface area equals 2LW plus 2LH plus 2WH. I think that's how they wrote it, right? Or HW. No, WH they did, right? Okay. All right, so the surface area is the 272, okay? That's going to equal, so we're looking for L, so we just need to name this, we'll name this W and we'll name this H. So I'm looking for L, so 2L times W, which is 2, plus 2L, that's what I'm looking for, times H, which is 12, plus 2W, which is 2 times H, which is 12. So we're solving for this W right here. So we can multiply this out. So 272 equals Well, 2 times 2 is 4, so that's 4L, plus 2 times 12 is 24, so that's 24L, plus 2 times 2 times 12, that's 48. And then it turns into an equation where we combine our terms and solve. So 272 equals 4 plus 24, that's 28L, plus the 48. And here's my equation. So we're out of room here, but subtract 48, subtract 48. So 272 minus 48, it's 224. So 224 equals 28L. So all we have to do is just divide that by 28, which gives us 8. So divide by 28, divide by 28. So L is equal to 8. And there it is, just basically setting up a long equation and then solving. All right, and then the last application wants to talk about the surface area of a soup can. So the surface area of a soup can below is 54.84. If the diameter of the can is 3 inches, find the height of the can. So we're gonna have to use this formula right here and just kind of working backwards. So the diameter is 3, so that means that the radius has to be half of 3, which is 1.5. So radius is 1.5. So then it turns into the same thing doing this right here, but we're gonna solve for h. So we're gonna do surface area, which is 51.84, equals 2 pi times the radius, which is the 1.5 squared, plus 2 pi times the radius, which is the 1.5, times h is what I'm looking for. So here's my variable. So I can multiply these together to make this easier. So I'm going to keep it in the form of pi so I don't mess up my rounding. So if I do 2 times 1.5 squared, let me show you what I'm doing. 2 times 1.5 squared, which is this. So that turns into 450. So this basically becomes 450 pi plus 2 pi times 1.5. So if I just do 2 times 1.5, it gives me 3. So this turns into 3 pi, and then the h. So that equals 50.84. All right, so then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to subtract the 450 pi. Wait a minute, was it 450 or 250? Oh, I put 15. There it is. Oh, my bad. This is actually 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. There you go. That's what I did wrong. There we go. So 51.84 minus 4.5 pi, which is this right here. So I'm gonna leave that right there. Then all I'm gonna do is divide by 3 pi. Divide by 3 pi. That's how it gives me. Let's see. So 54. 4.5 pi, 3 pi. I thought I subtracted it, didn't I? Okay, hold on. 51.84 minus. I think I divided. Oh yeah, there it is. I actually divided. So there it is. So then I'm going to divide that by 3 pi. Oh, dummy. I know what I'm doing. When you get to this part, you have to put in parentheses. There you go. Oops. That's what I forgot. I forgot to put in parentheses. So I did it right, but I didn't put in parentheses. There it is. It's just 4. Okay. So then right here, this was like, it was like 7.7 equals that 3 pi. And then I divide it by 3 pi. So right here, this is where I messed up. You have to put that in parentheses when you divide. And that gives you h equals 4. There it is. All right, still got time. Good to go.